What's happening, everybody? This is Dr. David coming to you the Wellness Way in Coralville. Today, we're going to be talking about a patient who came in who's struggling specifically with Hashimoto's. Now, her story is very common for those who are struggling with any autoimmune condition or thyroid issue in particular, but the story itself just shows how much of a struggle it can be when it comes to patients and their symptoms, especially when they feel as though their doctor's not hearing what they're currently saying. And so let's get into this patient. Now, before we do, if you guys could click the subscribe button down below, share this video with a friend, it really helps our channel grow. So let's get into it. So this is the story of a 38-year-old mom who came in struggling. Now, her symptoms were, for the most part, pretty classic to someone struggling with a thyroid issue, specifically hypothyroid. No matter how much sleep she got, she was waking up absolutely exhausted. She was gaining weight. The brain fog was so high. Hair, skin, and nail concerns. Obviously, some intolerances to temperatures, especially in the warm months. And the big point at the bottom, she was told that all of her labs were normal, but she did not feel normal. Now, this is interesting because so many people come to us saying that, you know what, I've been to my doctor, they tested everything, at least so they say, and everything comes back normal, but they still don't feel normal, right? She had gotten her TSH checked. She had gotten her T4 checked. These were those results. Normal range of just over a 1 for the TSH marker. Your T4 free is a 1.31. The gold standards of testing that they try to do to give any imbalances in the thyroid. Now, one of the big points that I'm going to make to you guys, and one thing to remember, is TSH. It's a hormone that is associated with the thyroid, but one of the big mind shifts I'm going to give to you guys is this. TSH is not a thyroid hormone. TSH is not a thyroid hormone. Most people get it tested to see what their thyroid's doing, but it doesn't actually tell you what the thyroid hormone in your body are doing. It's a little hormone that basically knocks on the thyroid's door and says, hey, we need some hormone. It stimulates the thyroid to produce hormone, but in and of its own right is not thyroid hormone. T4 is one of your thyroid hormones. Now, the interesting thing is, though, is that T4, some of it's in its active form, but most of it is actually in the form of T3. Now, a lot of different numbers here. Simplicity, and what I want to get across to you guys, though, is that how are we assessing the thyroid with an incomplete look by only running 2 markers? That's the point I want to get across. Now, furthermore, when I look at where this patient was coming from, we ran a full thyroid panel. Now, I'm only going to show you the 2 big markers that came back for her, but they were pretty significant. Thyroid peroxidase and thyroglobulin antibodies came back significantly elevated. Not just, they were flagged in the red or they're just outside normal range. No, these are high. These are signifying that she is thyroid autoimmune. Thyroid autoimmune. Now, when you look at some of her other thyroid markers as well, most of them were fine. Even on the panels that we ran, their markers were fine. But she was severely autoimmune that need to get to the bottom of. And one of the big things that we always want to come back to as well when it comes to hypothyroid, about 90% of the time, if you have hypothyroid, it's traditionally due to an autoimmune thyroid destruction, most commonly Hashimoto's. So, if that's the case, why the heck are we not testing fully for it? Now, I don't have all the markers on here, but our thyroid panel traditionally will test about 9 different thyroid markers. There's more, but that at least gives you a full, good starting point to identify if there's any potential imbalances. Because as soon as it becomes an autoimmune thyroid attack on the thyroid, it's no longer a thyroid issue, it's actually an immune system issue. And that's where the investigation had to go for her. But she finally had some answers. Finally, she felt as though she had somebody who listened and was able to understand why these symptoms are happening. Because now you can develop a plan based off of that. Okay? So what were some of our initial recommendations? Basic things with diet were very key moving forward. Need to be gluten-free. Gluten has a propensity to induce GI issues and symptoms and also can mimic your thyroid tissue as well. On top of the fact I wanted her to start avoiding her IgG food allergies, which is another test that we ran in association with the blood work that we got done. Now, take the recommended supplements. I'm going to hit on one of the big supplements that we use here in just a second, but also prioritizing sleep. When you have a thyroid autoimmune issue to this extent, you need to make sure you're giving your body the opportunity to heal. And a lot of times, not only is there going to be issues with our stress response, our adrenal health, but there's going to be systemic issues. And so you need to give your body that opportunity to really do some healing, to clean up, if you will. And sleep is going to be a big thing for her to prioritize. But now she's a mom. So I really needed to make sure that I got across to her saying, hey, this is a team effort. What's going on with family? Everyone needs to be on board. You need to be making sure you're taking this seriously. Otherwise, you will not get well. And that's just sometimes the reality of what needs to be said. It needs to be done. Now, the first big supplement that we were able to give her to help with some of those symptoms and also support for the thyroid, and for her, we did more of a higher dose of selenium. Now, ours is called bioactive selenium. This is very important because it's an antioxidant that's needed by our body. An antioxidant, and the reason it's so powerful is many people have heard of glutathione, right? Glutathione, one of the most powerful antioxidants in our body. It basically will help to be a precursor to the production of glutathione in the body, helping neutralize some of these overactive immune responses. Okay, so selenium was very important for her. It also helps with the production and the conversion of thyroid hormone, and so selenium is essential for proper thyroid function. Now, this is one, again, I always want to say supplements are secondary to what we focus on from a lifestyle perspective. Now, whenever you're autoimmune, whether it be rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimoto's, lupus, scleroderma, type 1 diabetes, MS, anything that you can consider, you have to find the triggers. You have to find the triggers. Now, we talked about a few of them already. We know there's some food allergies. We know there's some foods that need to start being removed. We knew there probably needs some deficiencies that are present, especially that selenium. But there's other places to look, and other places we're obviously going to be going down at some point. Infections, what's going on inside that gut. We'll probably be getting a stool test at some point on this patient because we need to see if there's any degree of leaky gut, imbalance in her good gut bacteria, etc., etc. Is there any triggers from mold exposures, environmental triggers, anything that could come from viruses? If there's physical trauma, mental stress, and just traumatic events that have happened in our life are also a very huge thing that needs to be considered when it comes to a patient struggling with an autoimmune condition. So there's many considerations to make, but this is the starting point that we like to take. Now, the big closing point that I want to make to you guys is that this is what's happening for this patient. What I want to get across to you guys is that you need a plan in order to take control of your health. Ultimately, we don't know exactly what your specific body needs until we test fully, get a better understanding of your story, and how to properly guide you from here. Now, this is our big 10,000-foot view of what care looks like for us. We always want to start by making sure we bring down some inflammatory triggers, help your body start doing some healing, helping it to start to repair. That's where the first couple months begin to lie. Now, everybody on social media talks about detoxing. Detoxing is a very methodical detox that we put our patients through, and we don't detox everybody. It's based off when their body is ready for it and if they're ready for it even at all, right? But if they are able to get through a detox, it gives us a nice clean slate to really ask, how are you feeling? Are we feeling better? Do we need to maybe dive a little deeper into maybe some of those other triggers that we were referring to beforehand? Maybe it is just time to let's start supporting some more hormones. Maybe we just need to continue on the prep path that we're currently on because the patient is feeling better. All these are considerations that we can start to make, but the big goal is to get to the last phase where so long as I have good labs, more importantly, you're feeling better, then we're done. The goal is not to have to come see us the rest of your life, guys. The goal is to get you to where it is that you want to be, teach you along the way what it's like to live a healthy lifestyle, but also we call it the wellness way lifestyle. And at the end of it all, our bodies start to heal and start to feel a bit better. So if you guys are interested in learning more about us or working with us, go out and check in the description down below for more information on us. Always remember to click subscribe and all that fun stuff, and we'll see you at the next video.